Welcome to Lesson 16.3 on AI detection and authenticity. This lesson addresses a topic that concerns many grant professionals: how to navigate questions about AI detection while maintaining authentic voice in your work. As AI tools become more prevalent in grant writing, some organizations and funders have begun using detection tools to identify AI-generated content. Understanding these tools' capabilities and limitations helps you respond appropriately to detection concerns. More importantly, we will explore why authenticity matters fundamentally to persuasive grant writing and how to ensure your AI-assisted work reflects genuine expertise and organizational voice. By the end of this lesson, you will understand the current state of AI detection technology, why focusing on authenticity serves you better than trying to evade detection, and practical strategies for maintaining genuine voice in AI-assisted work. AI detection tools attempt to identify whether text was generated by artificial intelligence rather than written by humans. These tools analyze statistical patterns in text, looking for characteristics that distinguish AI output from human writing. Markers they examine include word choice distributions, sentence structure patterns, and stylistic consistency that may differ between human and AI writing. Multiple commercial and free detection tools are available, including services from GPT-0, Originality AI, and features built into plagiarism detection platforms like Turnitin. Each tool uses somewhat different approaches and produces different results. Detection accuracy varies significantly across tools and contexts. The same text might be flagged as AI generated by one tool and classified as human written by another. Factors like content type, writing style, and the specific AI model used all affect detection accuracy. The technology is rapidly evolving on both sides. As detection tools improve, AI models are also becoming more sophisticated and harder to detect. This creates an ongoing cat-and-mouse dynamic that makes any current detection approach likely to become less effective over time. AI detection tools face significant reliability problems that limit their practical utility. False positives occur when detection tools incorrectly flag human-written content as AI-generated. This happens frequently, particularly with certain types of content and writing styles. False positives can damage professional relationships and create unfair accusations. False negatives occur when detection tools fail to identify actual AI-generated content. Sophisticated AI output or content that has been edited by humans often evades detection. This limits the tool's ability to catch intentional misuse. Non-native English speakers face disproportionately higher false positive rates. Research has shown that writing by non-native speakers is more likely to be incorrectly flagged as AI generated. This creates serious equity concerns when detection tools are used for evaluation. Technical writing also triggers more false positives because its structured, precise style resembles patterns associated with AI output. Grant proposals, with their formal structure and technical content, may be particularly susceptible to false positive detection. Fundamentally, no detection tool can definitively prove authorship. At best, these tools provide probabilistic assessments that should never be treated as conclusive evidence. Grant professionals sometimes develop excessive anxiety about AI detection, but this concern is often misplaced. Funders fundamentally care about content quality, organizational capacity, and program design rather than whether AI tools were used in drafting. A compelling, accurate proposal that effectively presents a strong project will succeed regardless of what tools contributed to its development. Authentic work naturally resists detection concerns. When you use AI as a starting point and substantially revise, edit, and personalize the content, the result reflects your genuine expertise and voice. This approach serves quality goals while incidentally addressing detection issues. Detection tools are not currently widely used in formal grant review processes. While some funders may experiment with these tools, systematic detection screening remains uncommon. Policies requiring disclosure address AI use more directly than detection approaches. The time and energy some professionals spend trying to evade detection would be better invested in improving content quality. Focus on making your work excellent rather than undetectable. Excellence serves your actual goals, while detection avoidance merely addresses an anxiety that may not reflect real evaluation practices. Beyond detection concerns, authenticity matters because it is fundamental to effective grant writing. Grant proposals are fundamentally acts of persuasion. You are trying to convince reviewers that your organization can and will achieve important outcomes if funded. This persuasion depends on trust and connection. Reviewers must trust that you understand the problem, have the capacity to implement the solution, and will use resources responsibly. Authentic voice builds this trust. When your writing reflects genuine understanding of the community you serve, real experience with your intervention approach, and authentic commitment to your mission, reviewers sense this authenticity. It creates credibility that generic language cannot replicate. Generic AI output lacks the specificity that convinces. AI can produce fluent prose about common grant topics, but it cannot provide the specific examples, local context, and organizational knowledge that make proposals compelling. Reviewers recognize genuine expertise and passion. They have read countless proposals and can distinguish between authentic engagement with a topic and surface-level treatment. Your genuine voice serves as evidence of the organizational capacity you are claiming. Recognizing signs of inauthentic voice helps you ensure your own work maintains authenticity. Generic descriptions that could apply to any organization signal lack of genuine engagement. Statements like "our organization serves diverse populations with evidence-based interventions" tell reviewers nothing distinctive about your work. Specific details about your particular community and approach are far more persuasive. Lack of specific examples, data, or local context suggests either unfamiliarity with the work or over-reliance on generic AI output. Authentic proposals include concrete stories, actual outcome data, and details that could only come from genuine organizational experience. Buzzword-heavy language without substantive content often indicates surface-level engagement. Terms like leveraging synergies or holistic capacity building sound impressive but communicate little. Authentic writing explains what you actually do in clear, specific terms. Inconsistent voice across proposal sections can occur when different sections draw from different sources without being integrated into a coherent whole. Careful editing ensures your authentic voice carries consistently throughout. Claims that do not match organizational reality represent the most serious authenticity failure. Never use AY to exaggerate capabilities or invent experiences. Such misrepresentation violates ethical obligations and damages trust if discovered. Actively infusing authentic voice ensures that AI-assisted work reflects your genuine expertise and perspective. Including specific examples from your actual experience provides evidence that only your organization could provide. Describe particular participants whose lives changed, specific challenges you overcame, concrete innovations you developed. These details demonstrate real experience. Referencing real data from your programs and community grounds your proposal in actual performance. Rather than generic claims about outcomes, cite your specific results. Reference local demographic data, community needs assessments, and organizational performance metrics. Sharing genuine organizational history and evolution demonstrates authentic engagement with your mission over time. How did your organization come to this work? What lessons have you learned? How has your approach evolved? This history cannot be fabricated by AI. Expressing authentic passion and commitment matters more than it might seem. Reviewers want to fund people who genuinely care about the work. Let your real enthusiasm come through rather than adopting a distant professional tone that obscures your commitment. Connecting personally to mission and impact adds a human element that generic content lacks. Why does this work matter to you? What drives your continued engagement? These personal connections build the trust that persuades. Human review is non-negotiable for any AI-assisted grant work. Never submitting AI output without substantial revision ensures that the final product reflects human judgment rather than raw AI generation. Use AI as a starting point, not an endpoint. Substantial revision transforms generic output into authentic content. Reviewing every claim for accuracy and appropriateness catches the errors and inappropriate content that AI regularly produces. AI may generate plausible-sounding claims that are factually wrong, misaligned with your situation, or inappropriate for your context. Human review catches these problems. Editing for organizational voice and style ensures the content sounds like your organization rather than generic AI output. Does the tone match your organizational culture? Does the language reflect how you actually talk about your work? Voice editing personalizes generic content. Adding specific examples and contextual details transforms generic AI content into authentic organizational narrative. Where AI provides general statements, you add the particular stories, local data, and organizational specifics that only you can provide. Taking full responsibility for final content means understanding that you, not the AI, are accountable for what you submit. This responsibility extends to accuracy, appropriateness, and ethical compliance. Never blame AI for problems in content you submitted. Specific editing strategies help transform AI-generated drafts into authentic content. Reading aloud helps you hear whether content sounds like you or like generic AI output. When something sounds wrong or unfamiliar when spoken, it needs revision. Your ear often catches inauthenticity that your eye misses. Replacing generic examples with specific ones from your experience is essential. If AI provides an example that does not come from your actual work, replace it with one that does. Real examples are always more persuasive than hypothetical ones. Converting passive voice to active where appropriate makes writing more direct and engaging. AI often produces passive constructions that sound institutional and impersonal. Active voice conveys agency and energy. Eliminating buzzwords that lack substantive meaning sharpens your communication. If a phrase could be deleted without losing meaning, it probably should be. Replace jargon with clear explanations of what you actually do. Adding transitions that reflect your narrative logic integrates sections into a coherent whole. AI-generated sections may not connect naturally. Your editorial work creates the logical flow that demonstrates genuine understanding of how your proposal arguments fit together. Authentic voice includes markers of genuine expertise that distinguish knowledgeable practitioners from those generating surface-level content. Including technical details that demonstrate knowledge shows reviewers you understand your field deeply. These details might involve methodology specifics, implementation nuances, or technical challenges that only experienced practitioners would know to address. Referencing field-specific developments and debates positions you within ongoing professional conversations. What are the current discussions in your area? How does your work relate to emerging approaches or contested questions? This engagement signals active expertise. Citing sources that practitioners in your field actually use demonstrates genuine familiarity with relevant literature. AI may generate citations that do not exist or reference sources that practitioners would not find relevant. Real experts know their field's key works. Using terminology correctly and precisely shows command of professional language. AI sometimes misuses technical terms or applies them inappropriately. Precise terminology demonstrates that you know what you are talking about. Acknowledging complexities that only experts recognize shows sophistication that superficial treatment cannot fake. What challenges are not obvious to outsiders? What tensions exist within your approach? This nuanced understanding builds credibility. Organizations should develop consistent voice that carries across all grant work, whether AI-assisted or not. Developing style guidelines for grant writing establishes standards that team members can follow. Guidelines might address tone, terminology preferences, preferred examples, and other elements that define organizational voice. Written guidelines support consistency even as team composition changes. Maintaining terminology consistency across proposals reinforces organizational identity. How do you describe your approach, your community, your outcomes? Consistent terminology builds recognition and demonstrates coherent organizational thinking. Aligning voice with other organizational communications ensures that proposals match your website, annual reports, and public presentations. Reviewers may encounter your organization through multiple channels. Consistent voice across these touchpoints reinforces credibility. Creating templates that reflect organizational style gives writers starting points that already incorporate your voice. When templates include authentic organizational elements, AI-assisted drafting starts from a more authentic foundation. Training team members on organizational voice ensures that everyone contributes consistently. New team members particularly benefit from explicit guidance on how your organization communicates. This training supports both quality and efficiency in grant development. If questions arise about AI detection or use, handle them professionally and honestly. Responding honestly to any questions about AI use maintains your integrity and trustworthiness. If you used AI assistance, acknowledge it. Attempts to deny or obscure AI use risk far greater damage if discovered than honest acknowledgement. Explaining your AI use policy and practices demonstrates responsible governance. Show that your organization has thought carefully about appropriate AI use and established frameworks for responsible implementation. Emphasizing human oversight and accountability addresses the core concern behind detection questions. Funders want to know that qualified humans took responsibility for the content. Explain how human judgment shaped and validated the work. Describing your quality assurance processes provides concrete evidence of responsible practice. What verification steps did you follow? How did you ensure accuracy? What review did the content receive? These process descriptions build confidence. Demonstrating the authentic expertise behind the work shifts focus from tools to substance. The proposal reflects real organizational knowledge and capacity, regardless of what drafting assistants contributed. Your expertise is the foundation that gives the work its value. Proactive disclosure about AI use offers an alternative to anxiety about detection. Proactive disclosure can preempt detection concerns by addressing the question before it arises. When you openly acknowledge AI assistance, detection becomes irrelevant. You have already provided the information that detection might reveal. Disclosure demonstrates transparency and responsibility, values that strengthen rather than weaken your credibility. Organizations that acknowledge their tools and processes honestly build trust through that transparency. Framing disclosure positively around process and accountability presents AI use constructively. Rather than apologizing for AI assistance, explain how you integrate these tools responsibly within your quality assurance framework. This framing positions your organization as thoughtfully navigating emerging technology. Following funder-specific disclosure requirements ensures compliance where explicit policies exist. Some funders now require disclosure of AI use. Know these requirements and follow them scrupulously. Documenting AI use for potential future inquiries creates records you can reference if questions arise later. Keep notes on what tools you used, how extensively, and what human review occurred. This documentation supports any future disclosure needs. Looking ahead, several trends will shape how detection and authenticity concerns develop. Detection technology will continue evolving as both detection methods and AI capabilities advance. The current limitations of detection tools may or may not persist. Professionals should stay informed about developments without becoming overly focused on this evolving landscape. Funder policies will become more explicit as the implications of AI in grant work become clearer. Currently, most funders have not articulated specific policies. Expect more explicit guidance to emerge over time. Monitor developments among your key funders. Disclosure norms will likely standardize as the field develops shared expectations about appropriate transparency. What seems unusual now may become routine practice. Participating in professional conversations about these norms helps shape their development. Authenticity will remain fundamentally important, regardless of how technology and policy evolve. The core requirement that grant work reflect genuine organizational capacity and commitment will not change. Authenticity is not a response to detection concerns, but a foundational requirement of ethical practice. Responsible AI use will become expected practice as these tools become standard in professional work. Organizations that develop responsible practices now position themselves well for this future. Today's lesson explored AI detection and authenticity in grant work. We examined how AI detection tools work and their significant reliability limitations, including false positives, false negatives, and disproportionate impacts on certain types of content and writers. These limitations mean detection results should never be treated as definitive. We established that authenticity matters more than detection avoidance. Grant proposals are acts of persuasion that depend on trust and connection. Authentic voice, reflecting genuine expertise and organizational character, builds the trust that convinces reviewers. Generic AI output lacks the specificity and credibility that authentic work provides. Human review and editing are non-negotiable requirements for any AI-assisted grant work. Substantial revision transforms generic AI output into content that reflects your genuine knowledge and organizational voice. Taking full responsibility for final content is essential. Honest disclosure addresses detection concerns more effectively than attempts at evasion. Transparency about AI use demonstrates responsibility and can preempt detection concerns entirely. Proactive disclosure builds rather than undermines credibility. In our next lesson, we explore AI for accessibility, examining how these tools can help make grant-funded work more inclusive and accessible to diverse communities. Thank you for engaging with these concepts about authenticity and detection.